Folks, welcome. And were you aware that apparently in 2020 there was a multi-city-wide ring of basically voter fraud locations going on during the election? And apparently this story broke on the 8th of August. I didn't see it. I've been busy doing other stuff. So, and this has all been coming out, but yeah, apparently this is real, and they got the receipts and the documents to prove it. Like, this is wild. I had to go back and do some reading on the past stories to get caught up on everything that's going on with this. So I'm going to jump into this real quick and just give you what's going on in this story. So, breaking: the Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel confirms 8 to 10,000 suspected fraudulent registrations delivered to Muskegon clerk October in 2020, as noted in the Michigan State Police report she buried from the public. And yeah, apparently this is real. So just a quick backdrop for those who don't know what's going on, because I had to catch myself up on. So on the 8th, they broke a story basically showing that back in 2020, there was a case where someone dropped off 8 to 10,000 ballots at a voter place. And obviously the person who took it was like, whoa, what's up? Looked in all this. All of the stuff was the same. They investigated into her, and basically she tried to play it off as, oh, I'm just getting paid to collect these. Well, yeah, but they all look the same. And all of this ties into GBI strategies. Now, on some of these past stories, now this is the original one. This is from the Gateway Pundit. That's the original one, right? So after that, they find some more stuff. That's the same one. Guns, burner phones, fake registrations. This is a buried story in Michigan. And GBI Strategies Director Gary Bell, this guy right here, had 70 organizations operated in 20 states in 2020, all tied to the Joe Biden campaign. And like I said, you can see in this picture, they got receipts and they got paperwork to back this up. I'm not going to go back into all that. You can go on the Gateway Pundit. They're the ones who broke the story. Check it out for yourselves. But we're going to get into this. So Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel has confirmed 8 to 10,000 suspected fraudulent registrations were delivered to the city clerk prior to the 2020 election. And now this has been reported by also the far left outlet Detroit News after the Gateway Pundit reported on it last week. So a redacted police report describes how Muskegon clerk Mish encountered a whooping woman, like I said, dropping off 8 to 10,000 completed voter registration applications. The Gateway Pundit reported that the registrations included the same handwriting, non-existent addresses, and incorrect phone numbers. An investigation found that the woman worked for GBI Strategies. GBI Strategies was funded by dark money super PAC Black PAC, which paid them $11,254,919 to register voters for Joe Biden. And apparently this is the copy that they have. That's got to be the number right there of what they were paid. GBI Strategies. And I believe this is based out of Tennessee. So the Gateway Pundit reported earlier that during the investigation, the police found guns, burner phones, prepaid cash cards, and incomplete registrations at a defunct eyeglass store where GBI Strategies had set up operation. Seems a little odd, right? Here's the explosive report. I showed you that earlier. I had to go and read through all that. And yeah, this report was buried. Basically, it got dropped off to the FBI and they just stopped doing anything with it. And it was only because someone else had reported this, I believe, to the Gateway Pundit, that they looked back into it and they finally got a copy of that police report that basically just vanished into seemingly thin air. So the Detroit News confirmed our reporting in an article Friday. This report was dropped before the weekend, and for sure it's a massive development. So Lansing, authorities in Michigan referred a 2020 investigation into thousands of voter registrations submitted by a person in Muskegon to the FBI Attorney General Dana Nessel's office confirmed this week. Nessel's press secretary, Danny Wimmer, said the total number of suspected fraudulent forms delivered to the Muskegon clerk by the individual was 8 to 10,000 ahead of the November 3rd, 2020 presidential election. And this is just one spot. I mean, this was all in cities all over the state. He was in 20 different states. I mean, come on. This has just slime written all over it. However, Wimmer said that the attempted fraud was caught before Election Day because Michigan's election system worked and the applicants were not added to the state's voter rolls. No, this is the one time it worked. The one time that you can show it worked. But you kind of need to double check all the others. Like how many other just buckets of, ballots were just mysteriously just dropped off all at one time. This is why vote by mail. No, you cannot do this. Absolutely not like this. All right. So the city clerk in Muskegon detected the fraudulent material provided and alerted the proper authorities, Wimmer said in a statement. A thorough investigation was conducted by multiple agencies within the state, and no successful fraud was perpetrated upon the state's election process or qualified voter file. The unresolved probe, which first became public in October 2020, has garnered new attention among conservative-leaning websites in recent days after the Gateway Pundit highlighted police reports about the investigators' efforts or lack thereof. The conservative website, which has advanced false and unproven theories in the past about voter fraud, influencing Democratic Joe Biden's victory, wrote in its headline for the story, "Now we have proof." However, officials in Michigan contend in recent days the incident was proof the election administrators are capable of catching and preventing wrongdoing when it is attempted. Like, it's going to be funny how they spin this, because you really can't. All they can do is just bury it and just flail at this point. The person who submitted the registrations to Muskegon clerk Ann Misha's office was a representative of GBI Strategies, which conducts voter registration drives and is headquartered in the state of Tennessee, Wimmer said. And the thing is I've actually looked at a bunch of these. You can go back to those other stories and look at them. Like, it's the same handwriting. They're sent to places where no one was supposed to be there, and somehow they got filled out with nobody seemingly there, or they moved. They said, like, it's clear as day what they did. But all they're going to do is just flail about because it's all they can do. So fraud was determined to have occurred at the lowest levels of the company, Wimmer said in a statement. The leading internal indication was that fraud was being perpetrated against GBI Strategies by its employees to fabricate work product without conducting the work expected of them, and not an explicit pursuit of defrauding the election infrastructure of the state. Oh, really? That's rich. All of these people went out of their way to commit felonies, like to make you look bad. Really? Wow, that's rich. So GBI Strategies received about $5 million from Democratic groups and campaigns for canvassing, voter outreach, and other activities during the 2019 and 2020 election cycle, according to federal disclosures. Biden's presidential campaign and the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee were among those that reported expenditures to GBI Strategies over the 2-year period. All right, so now we got a paper trail. Attempts by the Detroit News to reach the company were unsuccessful in recent days. In October 2020, the Michigan State Police first publicly revealed it was examining irregularities in voter registration forms in Muskegon. Gateway Pundit and other conservative websites have highlighted that bags of prepaid gift cards, guns with silencers, and burner phones were found during the search. Like, this was at that eyeglass spot. Like, does that seem legal? Like, why do you have guns with silencers? This is what gangs do. This is how they do it. This is what the mafia does, the cartels, the gangs. This is how criminal organizations operate. It's clear as day. But substantiating evidence of a crime wasn't found during the search, Wimmer said. Detected in this search were pay cards, prepay style cell phones, and voter registration forms, all determined to be normal operational devices in GBI Strategies' line of work. The guns and the silencers too? Like, really? Yeah, I don't know. Wimmer said also found during the search were several firearms, which prompted a response from federal agents of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. All detected firearms were determined by federal authorities to be legally owned and incidentally stored in the location by an employee irrelevant to the business purposes of GBI Strategies. None of the materials seized resulted in furthering evidence of voter fraud. Mish didn't respond to multiple requests for comment. The city of Muskegon has about 38,000 residents. So 8,000 compared to 38,000 new voter registrations would equal about 21% of the population. Clear as absolute day, folks. The Gateway Pundit continues our reporting on this major scandal. We have more developments to share. And yeah, this guy showed this on Twitter, all of the same stuff, but I didn't even know this was happening. So I am absolutely paying attention to this because wow. So this person right here is basically in on it. Like, do you get it? Like, this Michigan Attorney General, if that's the right picture, I'm going to assume that she's in on it. Like, first, like the state police took over, then it was taken by the FBI, and then it vanished, and she buried the story. They're in on it. It's that simple, folks. I don't know how else to tell you, but hey, I'm going to keep following this as much as I can. And with that said, folks, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, share. I appreciate the support, and take care of your friends and families, and I'll see you next time.